All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're going to completely transform how we understand our internal state, our reality, and ultimately, money. If you've ever felt a bit stuck, whether financially or personally, well, the root cause might actually surprise you because it all starts right here in the mind. So, here's our game plan. We're looking at the 4 pillars of life, what awareness actually is, defining full awareness, those 3 reference frames, redefining money, and finally, getting money from nature.
Starting things off with the 4 pillars of life.
Now, true mastery really requires us to conquer all 4 of these interconnected pillars: your inner self, your health, your relationships, and of course, your finances. You can't just isolate one and expect to be fully successful, right? They absolutely build upon and support each other. If you're missing one, the roof of your house is eventually going to cave in.
So the crucial point here is, how do you actually know if you've mastered these? Well, it completely comes down to your emotional reaction. If you feel a negative emotion like stress, anxiety, or maybe a sudden urge to just avoid the topic altogether when someone mentions marriage or money, then you currently lack awareness in that area. On the flip side, having true awareness means you maintain a balanced, really positive internal state when that subject comes up.
Which brings us right to our next point. What exactly is awareness?
Our core mantra for this explainer is a big one. Having awareness brings reality. Full awareness brings sustainable reality. Look, literally every problem in life originates from our core beliefs. If you can manage to shift your internal state from negative to positive, your external reality inevitably transforms to match it. It's wild, but it's true.
But we so often just get in our own way. When someone says, I can't do business, or I just don't have the money, they aren't stating an objective truth. They're simply experiencing a self-imposed boundary on their own awareness. They are literally blocking their own reality because their internal state regarding wealth is stuck operating in the negative. So if basic awareness is just having a positive feeling toward a subject, how do we level up? Let's define full awareness. To truly master any of those 4 pillars we just talked about, we need to meet 3 very specific conditions, which naturally begs the question, what exactly is full awareness? Well, whether you're trying to build a harmonious marriage or achieve absolute financial freedom, you absolutely must possess these 3 elements. First up, you need a crystal clear picture of the destination. Like, what exactly does the end goal look like? Second, a clear concept. Do you understand the mechanics of how it actually works? And third, just like we touched on, a balanced, positive internal state. You've got to have all 3 for sustainable success. Think about training for an Ironman triathlon. I mean, it sounds completely impossible to most of us, right? But if you have a clear picture of crossing that finish line, you know the exact mechanics of the swimming, the biking, and the running, and you maintain a completely positive mindset, the reality of becoming an Ironman is practically inevitable. Assuming you don't get eaten by a shark on the swim, of course. And the exact same logic applies to generating wealth. Moving on to the 3 reference frames. Okay, let's untangle a somewhat dense philosophical concept here, just to ensure our perspectives are totally rock solid. If you look at reality through science, life's outcomes originate from the images we hold in our minds. If you look through religion or belief, outcomes stem from our internal state, our merits and virtues. And through ethics or philosophy, they come from our foundational source, concepts. While they definitely use different vocabulary, science, belief, and ethics all point to the exact same truth. Your internal state dictates your reality, period. Now, let's get into redefining money. Here's a really fascinating question for you. Do children actually have a better awareness of money than adults do? Surprisingly, yeah, they do. Young children view money perfectly. To a kid, money is simply a tool for exchange with absolutely 0 negative emotional baggage attached to it. They see a toy, they hand over the money, they get the toy. No stress, no limiting beliefs. That is pure awareness. As adults, we really tend to overcomplicate things. But historically, money hasn't just been paper. It's been shells, gold, even livestock. Money is simply a common equivalent representing the value created by humans. It is strictly governed by the basic laws of supply, demand, and how much value you actually provide to others. Which leads us to our final piece, money from nature. Let's look at the actual journey of wealth creation. Things like birds' nests, rare earth metals, or even leeches start out as mere elements of nature.
And yes, I mean literal blood-sucking leeches. But through a specific process, they become incredible sources of wealth. First, science validates their usefulness. Then, a legal framework approves their extraction. And finally, public consensus takes over. When all those align, boom, nature becomes money.
But keep in mind, money from nature is ruthlessly dictated by supply and demand. If a natural resource is rare and public demand is super high, the value skyrockets. But if everyone jumps in and unregulated over-farming happens, the market gets flooded, supply totally outweighs the demand, and the price crashes. Ultimately, the amount of value you provide to others dictates the depth of your pockets. There is a catch to this wealth, though. Extracting wealth from nature, or really any system, without replenishing the soil or the ecosystem is inevitably going to destroy your source of wealth over time. You absolutely have to give back. Sustainable harvesting and regenerative practices are literally the only ways to maintain that full awareness and keep your financial reality thriving in the long run. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this thought to really reflect on. Look back at those 4 pillars: inner self, health, relationships, and finances. If having awareness brings reality, which area of your life currently gives you a negative feeling? Which area are you finally ready to stop avoiding and start mastering? Because the moment you build a clear picture, grasp the concept, and find a positive internal state, your new reality is already on its way. Keep building that awareness, and I'll catch you in the next one.